Hello and welcome back, guys. It is time to get into some more of that Valentine Royale. Valentine Royale. Yes, that's definitely not what it is. It is the Valentine Royale. I mean, Span, we gotta mix it up. You know, you gotta come up with new names because, like, why not, right? But of course, enough of that. How you doing today, though, Span?
I'm good. I'm excited. Once again, I just had a refresher looking at the team list once again. Because, this is week 4, technically, of this entire Valentine Royale. And we've been slowly but surely, approving people. People have been making it into the grand final. And it's finally here. It feels kind of weird. So an entire month has gone by and we're finally at the grand final, and all those people that we saw make it like weeks ago, literally an entire month ago, we're seeing them again today. So 16 teams. I just looked at the list. I'm like, this is going to be spicy.
Yeah, definitely is. I mean, again, I forgot my bow and arrow somewhere. I left it somewhere once again, but it's going to be quite exciting to see what the teams are going to be bringing in. And of course, this time around, we are going to be having 2 days of play and not just 1 day like we've had in the previous week. So the teams will definitely have that opportunity to come and show us their consistency. And I mean, as you've pointed out, the teams participating, definitely some names we've seen really making quite the mark in the previous 3 weeks of gameplay. And today is going to be the day where we get to see what these teams are going to be bringing to that battlefield. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be quite hot and spicy, as you've rightly so pointed out. But, we gotta have a bit of a look and see, what is going to be on the table. We are also going to be moving through our selection of maps for the day, after which we'll be hopping straight into that game. So, yeah, I'm excited to get the party underway to see exactly where we're going to be heading, what these teams are going to be doing, and of course, who's going to be our dominating duos coming out at the end of the day.
And honestly, I know that you're going to ask me, oh, Span, who do you think is going to win? And I'm going to be like, I don't know, DK. But seriously, when I say I don't know, DK, like, I'm being pretty serious at this point, because if you go ahead and look at the performance from all of these teams these past 3 weeks, 2 of the teams that got the highest amount of points was 50 and 51. So I guess I could go ahead and say one of them, but also the people below them, 1, weren't that far away. 2, this entire lobby hasn't played against each other just yet. So that means that, honestly, I feel like anything could happen. So it's going to be a hard one. If I had to go on ahead and choose one, I feel like it would be one of those couple of teams that were at the tippy top. One of them, the one with the 51 points, being M and A. So I guess if I had to choose one, I'd go with them, just based off of numbers, statistics, whatever you want to call it. But like I said, I'm excited to see who's going to challenge them, or if they're going to be challenging somebody else, or who's going to be coming out on top.
Yeah, I can tell you it's going to be an absolutely action-packed day, looking at, our duos stepping up. And I got to echo what you were just saying. So many impressive plays and strong performances we've been seeing coming through over these past 3 weeks. So at this point, I still think it is pretty much anyone's game. Any of our sets of duos can step up to take home those chicken dinners, to rake in those points and find themselves at the top of the leaderboard. Who that will be, we don't know as of yet. We'll find out, of course, as we progress through the day to see where the teams are going with regards to those points. But I definitely think it's going to be an absolutely action-packed day. And of course, we also have one of your favorites from the previous weeks coming in as well, the players there from FSU.
Sure. I'm actually wearing my gear today, my UCF gear. Well, okay, yeah, I was waiting for that conversation to happen once again. Let's see if FSC is gonna go on ahead and do well. I'm happy because they are a team that is from Florida, but they're my mortal enemy. They just have to be. So we'll see if they do well, and I'll be happy and upset either way, I think.
Well, happy because it's the state, right? But not it's not the right part of it, if you want to say that, of course. And
Yeah.
speaking about states, we have to look at the state of the map situation currently, right? We got to take a look to see what maps our teams are going to be fighting it out today. Definitely know 100% for sure that the Erangel should be in the mix, and indeed it is. We are going to be moving through Miramar, Erangel, and then of course heading it off in the nice and little sweaty jungle of Sanhok.
Yeah, and we have 3 matches today, 3 matches tomorrow. That means 6 matches in total to end off our grand finals, DK. And I kept saying it the last couple of weeks, like, wow, they only have 3 games to qualify in. Same pressure applies here as well. I mean, they only have 6 games to go on ahead and make it in the top in these grand finals. So seriously, it's a little bit better. It's not just 3, it is 6, but it's still no real room for mistakes, and it looks like we're starting off on Miramar. No mistakes can be made, DK.
Yep, performance is going to be absolutely crucial if these teams are looking to solidify their positions up at the top of that leaderboard. And we've seen Miramar really bringing in some surprising strategies. We've actually had a lot of teams starting off quite aggressively over on Miramar. A lot of that hot drop action starting it off. So maybe we'll see a repeat of that come through on this edition of Miramar. But as you said before, the teams haven't really played against each other in the same lobby. They've all had the opportunities to play against some of the teams, but ultimately now they have that opportunity to kind of see how they measure up and get an idea of what to expect in the coming 2 matches.
I still hope that he said that, and I said they better, because I mean they haven't gone on ahead and played against each other just yet, but also this is the grand finals. I'm trying to decide my expectations, I guess, coming into this, because I feel like this is the time. You know, they made it, they qualified all the way to here. Are they going to go on ahead and really go hard, knock it out of the park immediately, or are they going to go on ahead and be like a little bit more what's what I'm looking for, a little bit more planning, sneaky? Not quite sure the word I'm trying to get, but you know, they have day 1, which is today, I guess, to really be a little bit more careful, figure out exactly what they're playing against, what they need to do, and then tomorrow come in stronger and really roll over everybody.
Yeah, I think today we're going to see a lot of those calculated plays kind of coming through as the teams are, you know, just trying to assess the situation, trying to figure out how best to adapt and move on in. And already we see several teams actually taking some interesting drops right out of the gate. We do see the players there from the finisher actually moving all the way down to Val del Mar with the map centering up relatively comfortably. I mean, there's no water to cut off of that, you know, playable area. So it is going to be down to those open fields on the north of the kind of Los Leones, Minas Generales, Pecado, you know, that kind of region for the teams now to get themselves settled in and potentially look to set up a bit of a foothold.
Couple of people actually going on ahead and extending over towards that eastern side around the La Bandita and Pala area. Curious to see if they're going to be landing close enough to each other, really to bother each other. 4 teams as well inside of Los Leones. We can see one of them actually being, look at that, DK, it's M&A. This is a team that I do want to keep an eye on, because they did kind of exceed my expectations coming in last week when they were able to qualify, because we had seen them try to get in the week before and it just wasn't like in the cards for them, right? But then they ended up doing absolutely amazing. I believe that one of them, actually, Alucard, he ended up being the MVP for the entire week. So I feel like M&A, they have a lot to live up for in this grand final.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure if Electra maybe just came in with a name change there.
Yeah. Not sure.
But that might trip me up a little bit, but it's going to be okay, because you know, Alucard is still there, so at least I'll eventually be able to figure out who we're looking at. But either way, excited to see what M&A are going to be bringing on in, as they do find themselves alongside the players here coming in from the side of Baba. So we'll have Bullshark and Yaga getting ready to push on in, and again we see a lot of those air punches coming through. And I mean, it was quite exciting, or actually quite informative when I was casting with Zute. He said that the players utilize that, you know, in order to kind of move around more sneakily. It reduces the noise from their feet. And I was like, wow, I actually never thought of that, because, you know, we've spent so much time just watching the players that you kind of sometimes miss out on these small little intricacies. So it helps, having someone that knows the ins and outs come through. And of course, speaking about ins and outs, Fate showing us the ins and out of that barrel, just sending the ammo right on through to get that first elim right on in. And that, in fact, was our first team down for the count.
Mm-hmm. And also to add off on that, they also going ahead and make some punches because it's a little bit harder to go on ahead and hit. I mean, that's the benefit, I guess, of being a player in the passive form, going on ahead, moving on to casting, is you do have the little bit more of those insights there. So, luckily, I mean, DK, you got to play yourself right here. Hello. So, I mean. True. Yeah. But there are just small tricks like that you're right, not that many people know. So I'm glad you actually went on ahead and brought it up, because it's interesting to go on ahead and point out stuff like that, or the benefits, the really small advantages that players could be going ahead and utilizing inside of this game, because there are a lot of them, that definitely being one of them, especially around that Los Leones area, since they're kind of on top of each other, a little bit worried that they are going to be running into each other shortly. Honestly, M&A being all the way up on the northern side, they're already running away. They have the least amount of worry. I feel like Fox all the way on the southern side that might run into one of the other two teams there.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's not like you can exactly just put your slippers on, right? And sneak around in the desert. One, they're going to get quite dirty, and two, I don't think they're available in-game. But it would have been pretty cool if there was something like that. But either way, I'm curious to see, like, where the kind of... the point of contention is going to be, where all the teams are going to start moving up into. And I think we'll have a better idea of where that could possibly be once we see this next zone shift come through. Because currently, the teams are still relatively spread out. We do see a few teams, of course, positioned over in towards Los Leones. But again, we haven't seen a lot of that aggressive play really come through like we've been seeing in those previous 3 weeks. This time around, it's a little bit more of a calculated approach coming through. The team's still just trying to figure out how to best potentially play against the opposing teams, because I think that also adds a slight little bit of a level of tension to it, right? Not really that tension is the word, but it's that level of uncertainty, is you don't really know what to expect when stepping into a lobby of duos.
Yeah, no, you have no idea what to expect. You can also see a ton of people already making rotations. So many people in vehicles down around that southern side around Los Leones. I feel like, to kind of continue off of that, there's 16 teams in here, and they are duos. Usually in games with even squads, right? Usually when it comes down to two or even one person, they're like really hard to detect, because I mean, there's less people. You can go ahead and kind of sneak around a little bit more. And these duos, I mean, everybody's a duo, so they're gonna have a little bit more stealth on their side. And since the enemy teams are all duos as well, they're not gonna be able to go ahead and spot them out as easily. Kind of cancels out, right? But it does, I feel like, make these beginning portions a little bit more difficult, because I feel like in duos tournaments, I've seen so many more people kind of just accidentally walk up on enemies, and I feel like it's because they're quieter, they don't have as many of teammates, keep their eye everywhere. And that's why I think M&A might just be able to be getting this close to Baba.
But it's going to be a beautiful surprise, though, to see the reaction on Baba's face once M&A come in with this play, because we can see... I'm just going to go with Electra. We can see Electra positioned right here on the edge of this cliffside, just having a pretty good idea of where Baba is. I'm pretty sure the footsteps should be audible from about this distance, possibly. Otherwise, why would, Electra be so cautiously waiting there? But it's good to see Alucard also coming in on a slight off angle. Both players just utilizing that ridgeline, but they have to be quite cautious with how they take this approach, because we see yet another team now pulling up right there alongside them. So if they're looking for opening to get a little bit aggressive and maybe come in with a few of those hits, they still need to try and weigh out the options here, because if you strike too early, you could draw the attention of, the teams not necessarily within your focus, but also if you wait too long, you could be missing out on a golden opportunity.
Yeah, I think they're just waiting at this point for Baba to leave that building as well, because you don't want to go on ahead and take some shots at them right now, because they'll just continue to stay inside the building. More like they're hoping for one of them to maybe run across to one of the other buildings in this compound that they can go on ahead and do damage to. But it looks like Baba, they can tell something's happening here. Bull Shark gonna take a little bit of that nade. I think they're trying to toss it in some sort of a direction. But I kind of was wondering why Baba are all grouped up in that building, and I think they know. They know that someone's right above them, especially with that nade. I feel it kind of confirms it too. They hear something.
Yeah, I can see those spidey senses tingling. You know, something's up. It's triggered the radar, but it's surprising to see the amount of teams we actually see moving in on towards the side here, close to Los Leones. Of course, we had the players coming in from the side of, I believe that was Zero Remorse potentially, sitting down over towards that southern side, Pilot and Co. Oh no, that was I think it was Chica iOS. Either way, they were positioned over in Los Leones. We saw them starting to rotate down south, but now also they did venture back up. We did see them coming into that northeastern side of the map, and there they are, just off in the distance. So definitely some interesting rotational paths coming through from a lot of these teams. I mean, this is now the 4th team that we've seen just on this mini-map, and there's not a lot of distance really covered on that mini-map.
Now that everybody's kind of grouped together at this point, that's what you can see. Striker here also taking some shots towards rotating people. We can see them now making a little bit of a move. I mean, this Bandita area was the center of the first zone, but being zone 2, we already know that the zone kind of pulled up a little bit more towards that northern side. It looks like 100. They're ready to kind of move out. Look, he's like, get inside the car. We're leaving. Maybe not. You know, they're getting ready. Baba, though, they don't want to let go just yet. They definitely know. There's no way. With that nade, and especially since they're still in that compound, like you can see in the minimap, they're seriously right on the edge of zone. This wouldn't be worthwhile for them to continue holding this compound unless they knew that they had to stay inside because there's danger out there.
Yeah, and I mean, like, if we look at the position here from M&A, they've been up here for the longest time, at least 3 minutes from my rough calculations, and fortunately, I think that was the first potential opening coming through now. As Baba starts to rotate in, we can see Electra picking up those heads coming in with that M249. But now I'm curious to see what rotational path's going to come through from Alucard, because we did see Alucard first position up towards the north, now repositioning over towards the southern side, just improving those angles. But Baba still just sticking to those ridge lines, and with that, they're actually able to make a really comfortable, sneaky rotation to break away.
Yeah, right where they went is a perfect ridge, like a really deep one that just hides any sort of sight line. So they were instantly safe, instantly were able to grab their second vehicle as well and get out of there. Which is good for them because they were stuck at the very edge of zone. They know that they're losing the opportunity, the advantage of getting into zone as early as possible, you know, leapfrogging to a better compounds over and over again. But they were able to leave in this situation. They found themselves the next best thing, still around that La Bandita area, just at least for a little bit of a breather. Probably don't want to go too far since they were being held out. And we know that M&A, I don't think that we've seen them touch a vehicle at all. So they're going to be a little bit behind for the rest of this zone close, actually, since they don't have a car to kind of transport them faster. I assume at this point that they've probably just given up on it and they're going to keep on running in this direction. Oh,
yeah, they've mobilized. They've picked up their escape vehicle and they're getting ready to roll. But I mean, this next phase shift could be quite interesting. We do see the players there from Zero Remorse right there on top of the drop, just holding the position. But some really interesting positions already being occupied a little bit further down south. As we can see, you know, teams, they're all getting ready to roll with this one, Span. And this is what I've been waiting for. Looking to see that shift come through. But look at this now. The 100 just slowly picking away as they line up a few beautiful shots there on towards Fulabi and Punjabi.
Yeah, they almost exploded that vehicle. That would have been a horrible beginning there if 100 was able to pull that off and get that one kill. Then there would have only been a solo left. Look at this once again on the very edge of this zone, and there's people actually behind them. They need to be careful in this altercation because they stand up too far. There you go, already getting shot from that direction. M&A getting involved, doing some damage to Striker. Nice knock though. That means there's only one left. in the buggy. I think he's just leaving.
Yeah, maybe Psycho could be looking to just retreat back down into safety, heading further north. But also now up comes that roll through from Baba, as we can see Yaga on the approach. A nice little high toss coming through there from Striker, not landing all the way, but that could be an easy pickup now. But the 100 finding themselves in quite a difficult position. Also now as we jump over to the Panther spots, you can see them also now trying to push in. This is going to be absolutely crazy. We got so many teams moving in on this eastern side. I mean, this is absolutely crazy. Like, what are the odds? This is Miramar. This is a huge map. And all the teams now just come rolling in from that eastern side. This is like, what are the odds here, Span?
You know, all depends on the playing path and where these guys like to go on ahead and land for loot and initial rotations. It really just comes down to the teams and their comfortability. So that's the probability, honestly. It's just where do these guys usually go on ahead to make their first rotations? And that's the answer. Seems like this one is a little bit more Eastern heavy. I will say, though, as well, our first zone did center around La Bandita, and it kind of hard shifted on over to the western side, now centering around Picado. So everybody kind of was prepared to spread out in the entirety when it was centered around Bandita. But since it hard shift over towards the west, then just that means, yeah, more people are going to be coming from the east, just based off of the map.
Yeah, and some really devastating blows coming in there from the 100 as they focus across. You can see M and A on the opposite end being reduced to 1, and some beautiful positioning here as we can see Critch now just peeking off in both directions. I mean, this is just capitalizing at its best. As we can see Darkito also getting hit. Up comes Hypercito. I mean, I was waiting for Despacito to come in, but it's not going to be needed as we see the players there from Masato's getting sent right back into the lobby. Now, Zero Remorse left to make their way on through. And this is quite an interesting compound just here on the side of the Picado Hills. I mean, in squads, we usually see quite a bit of contention coming in for these compounds. And it's good to see the teams kind of continuing on with those efforts.
Yeah, I mean, this compound, I mean, the only thing that it's not safe from is right above you. But if they're inside of these buildings, it doesn't really matter much. Otherwise, kind of crashing onto this compound is kind of difficult. There's only really one big location, one direction that they can, and that is to the east. So they're going to have a lot of visibility on everything inside the zone. And seeing this next one kind of pull on over in this direction as well, I don't think anybody's really going to prioritize staying up towards the northern side. So if they go ahead and play their cards correctly, they could potentially be left alone for a very long time, and that is always beneficial going into late game. You could just kind of keep your distance, save up on your meds and utility, take fights from afar, and then utilize those later when you need to. Ooh, no! That was so fast.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty insane play coming in here from the 100, just stepping up with those brutal blows. But of course, as we looked onto the map, we did see a few teams still making their way in from that far of western side. And one of those teams actually being the players there from Execute, still having to try and squeeze in. But of course, a very, very split rotation from them. A lot of the other duos we are looking at, we see, you know, a good concentration of them moving up as a unit, you know, because you can't really afford to have too much separation coming on in, especially if you're going up against a whole bunch of other duos. Baba now looking to capitalize on that knock that they've been able to sneak in. Pull up ahead, puts Bullshark right on down Yaga. Now just on the opposite side, they're trying to cook up that nade, trying to potentially maybe create a bit of an opening. But he's got to be careful. If he lets that one loose in the wrong direction, it could be quite costly for his team though.
That is so unfortunate. I mean, Yaga, he wasn't ready whatsoever. Bullshark just pushed in by himself and ended up getting punished for it. At least the flush didn't come through. Paul's still the only one. Still hasn't quite gotten the res open, but this nade could be it, TK, if he just places this perfectly. Oh, I think it is! I think it is! Nice.
Oh, man. I think I've got a hole in my chest, Ben. That was a really stressful nade coming through right there, and absolutely beautiful placement coming in off the back of that. But you know, that is what we're kind of expecting looking at these duos go. I mean, they were kind of alluding to this in the previous 3 weeks of play, coming in, bringing up such a absolutely fantastic gameplay. Now we have them all in one lobby to fight it out, and up comes Execute, just executing the players there from Fulabi and Punjabi, setting them right on back and execute. Already off to 3 elims, but I mean, they're chasing up behind the players there from 100, who are sitting already on a very, very comfortable 6 elims.
Yeah, at this point, I have to go on ahead and catch up. The zone, herd shifting, once again, so many people actually are inside Picado, and they're going to have to run into each other, but also rotation coming through from Anna from FSU, not too lucky. 100 definitely continuing to capitalize off of the position that they have. I mean, they're up on top of this hill. They can see absolutely everything, so they can get a lot of damage and a lot of kills under their belts. Looks like Cookie Crumbles will be our next team out. We still have 10 teams alive, though. This next zone is very difficult, though. I mean, other than our team all the way up in the northern side of this new zone, there really isn't that much else to play. Of course, you could play the rocks up there in that northwestern side, but also like right beside the O and Picado towards the eastern side, there is a big hill there that is a ridge, but that is playable, but they have to be so careful if they do play there, because people to their south could go on ahead and mess with them.
Yeah, I mean, what better name for the team to be in control of the only compound currently in zone? It is going to be Zero Remorse, right? And I'm expecting Zero Remorse from them, looking to just clamp down on their position. But it is going to be a pretty brutal play for a lot of the teams. As you can see, the finisher now trying to move on in. A Hellfire coming under some crazy fire here as we see Clown getting down. M&A getting sent away. Manny now trying to survive as Fate and Gremlin are trying to get into the swing of things, just looking to leverage their position as they just duck and weave in and out of these little crevices. But look at that Gremlin just lighting it up, picking up their 5th elimination, and absolutely beautiful play coming in there from them. But now, it's not over just yet. Teams are going to continue to push further and further forward. You got the players there from Chica iOS positioned up on towards that far northern side. Zero Remorse, of course, just a little bit further down from them. But the finishers now looking to set up a bit of a gatekeep coming in over on towards the southern side of the zone. And we see the players there from Jalay just positioned down below.
I'd be a little bit worried from having that spot because honestly, this. I mean, there isn't that much further that they can go. They're buggy, super on fire. Everything's going to be really difficult to go ahead and make any sort of rotation. Anybody inside of that Picado area or just in that direction could directly see them. This next zone, though, doesn't make things easier, but nice knock actually coming through onto Striker season. That means there's only one left up there on the northern side. I think utilizing that hill for them up there is really going to be beneficial. And otherwise, all these teams that are up in these mountains, they have to fight. It's only Execute that's the closest to the zone. They honestly are in a great position of power if they could really stay there and just take out everybody that starts coming towards them from the north.
Oh, it is going to be quite a brutal play, as we can see Dreamin for the side there of Chica iOS. Quickly just putting in those painful blows now. It is quite a bit of a scattering play coming through here. We do see the finisher, Tom, just picking away at Pilot off in the distance. And I mean, looking at where the zone is shifted to span, this is gonna be crazy. This is nuts. I mean, there's no cover along the side of that road, and I do think we're going to be seeing quite a few of these teams just getting absolutely demolished as they try to make their way up in towards this next phase. The only potential hiding spot is right down there, where we can see the finisher now trying to finish off and potentially claiming that compound if they decide to try that rotation out.
Okay, good. Let's see. We can see another member, Fisher, I believe, actually grabbing a vehicle on that eastern side, driving on in. So many people on the north now inside a blue zone. It's going to hurt a lot. Zero Remorse couldn't get out of the compound that they found themselves in. They get taken out. Now the Finisher, they found themselves a beautiful bowl. Honestly, again, they can stay there and take out everybody that's kind of struggling on this northern side. One of them, Fate, so close to be taken down. Oh, I don't know if those shots were worth it.
Oh, yeah. Jalay steps up and execute. Absolutely beautiful turn of events. But now we are not done just yet. Still 4 teams left. 5 players still remain. It is going to be the finisher coming in with 2. We got the 100 sitting on 1. We got Chica iOS on 1. And of course, Jalay sitting on 1. And yeah, I don't think that position has ever been as important as it is right now, particularly for these players, because there's no real hiding place for them really to utilize. The zone is just making it harder and harder with every shift coming through. And I mean, we can see a lot of these utilities now just getting put to good use, finding quite a bit of damage. And I mean, this is where you need to be on your top game if you're looking to make it up into the zone that is just up ahead.
You said it perfectly. Yeah, there's like no room for movement whatsoever. We can see Critch here from 100 trying to toss out some smokes, trying to use those as cover. As he starts driving down, I just don't know where he kind of plans on going. Instantly lays down, but there's an enemy right beside him. No way, is he actually gonna get this? And he does! Oh, so many things just happened at once.
Yeah, the finisher coming in with the dub there as they take the victory. The chicken dinner, 5 elims and 833 damage, just stealing it from the hands of the 100. They came so close, but oh, it all came down to the timing. Absolutely beautiful play, and it really just did work so well for the finisher, having their 2 remaining players making it up into those really late phases and just capitalizing on their sheer power of numbers. So absolutely beautiful play coming in there from the finishers. Absolutely fantastic chicken dinner. And Spanner, what a great start to the day.
I agree. You have to go on ahead and kind of commend the finishers once again, for they were trapped up on the side of the mountain for a while. They realized, I can't stay up here anymore. Let's go find something closer to the zone that we can play off of. There was a slight bowl right beside the road that they instantly just drove up into, and that's why they were able to play there for as long as possible. They had the cover that they needed, and they were in charge of the peaks against their enemies. So that was just a great spot for them to just hold everybody out, and then they were able to win. That was never even a close range fight for them. The entire time they're just shooting far away, and that's exactly what you kind of have to prepare for on a map like Miramar. Big, out in the open, no sort of place to kind of hide behind, no cover, no nothing. So that was a great game for them.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Of course, Miramar does allow for a little bit of that sneaky play to come on through, but I mean, the zone definitely not allowing any of that really to be pulled off. But we actually saw the teams all getting so close to each other in those early phases. I mean, the teams just rotating up within spotting distance of each other, but not taking those engagements just yet. We saw quite a few of the fights breaking out as we got into those later phases. So the team's definitely trying to play it a little bit more strategically, trying to play that long game. And I mean, you can't really blame them. They have 6 matches to figure out and decide who the victors are going to be. So I'm expecting some really interesting strategies to still be applied through the remainder of our games here for today. And of course, what a better way to do that than try to bring that into a little bit of that Miramar action, but Erangel action rather. But before we get into any of that, we of course have to have a quick look at our match standings to see what this point situation is after our first match.
I think we both know what to expect, and actually the finisher in first place with 20 is it. But did you also know that 100, they also ended up getting enough points for 20 total points? They got second place, but they got so many kills that they're actually tied with the finisher. Chica iOS in that third place with 13, tied once again with Execute, then kind of a jump down to Delay in fifth with 9. Once again, jump down 0 more to 5, then huge once again, EXP with 2, FSC with 1. A ton of people only able to pick up 1 point for this first match, or 3 teams unfortunately with the donut hole.
Yeah, well, at least you could say those teams, they all won, you know, like that's what I'm going for. It's my lane joke for the day. But of course, some 2020 vision coming in there at the top of the leaderboard. Absolutely no surprise to see that come on through. But now the question comes in, Span, is which team is going to be taking the MVP team slot? Is it going to be the finisher, or is it going to be the 100? Because we saw the 100 coming in with those 8 elims, 3 ahead, and of course it goes right over to the 100. Man, I like it when we're so good with these numbers. But of course, we see those 8 elims, the 3 assists, 1 grenade, so we got a happy Span, and as well as 899 damage dealt.
I was gonna say it has to honestly be 100, because they did get the same amount of points as the team that got the chicken dinner. So that means they just did so much more in terms of the points that they were able to gain. As you can see here, I mean, 8 kills for the first match. That's nothing to scoff at whatsoever. 20 points in total from 1 match. That's definitely going to go on ahead and set them up pretty strong. I'm kind of curious to see if they're going to actually be able to overtake that first spot from the finishers, or, you know, just wait and see if either of them honestly are going to be staying staying alive long enough into the next match where they're going to gain the points that obviously matter.
It's going to be neck and neck across the board. I'm 100% convinced of that. And of course, we see Fate actually dealing the show here, coming in with the 5 elims, dealing the 2 assists. Unfortunately, no grenade finishes, but a really strong damage counter coming in. 80.5% damage for the team. They're sitting on 619 damage now. So definitely some impressive numbers to see. But I mean, I think this is only going to be going up and up as we progress through the rest of our matches here today.
Oh, it definitely will. I'm excited, honestly, to see if there's any specific MVP player that's going to start stepping up, because there definitely was huge ones every single week. I feel like that we ended up seeing last week. The most recent just happened to be Alucard. I think he ended up having like 12 kills, something crazy in 3 matches. And it looks like Fate starting it off with the 5. I mean, curious to see if anybody's going to be able to jump above that. Usually what we see, of course, the MVP team kind of change every time, but I feel like there's been a lot of the time where the MVP player kind of tends to be the same person over and over again.
Well, I mean, we're looking at the performance we saw coming in just off the back of that first match, right? The duos are coming in hot and swinging, right? They know what's at stake. They know that this is not qualifiers anymore. This is now, it is show day, right? They got to step up. They got to show us the performances. They got to show us who is going to be our victors for the Valentine Royale. And I'm expecting to see some pretty spicy action continue through our matches. And speaking of which, we are going to be taking a quick little break just to top off that spice a little bit more before we head over onto Erangel. So be sure to stay tuned, and we'll see you guys right back after the break.
Feel my body aching, I feel like I'm breaking, and I know it all too well. Got another new day, still I'm feeling misplaced. I keep going down, down, down. Too many years going blind. Caught in an action, I can't rewind. Oh, and in my head, I'm screaming, but out of my mind, I'm still too young to feel this way. Still too young to be running out of energy. Oh, we see we're growing older, got weights upon our shoulders.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. We're getting ready to move into our second match of the day. Of course, we are going to be heading right back over onto Erangel. If you missed out, it was an absolutely beautiful play coming through on this first match of the day. Erangel is going to be the second one. Miramar was where the action was at. I almost mixed the two up there, Span. I tried to save myself. I think I might have did, but you know, it's already a crazy start to the day. And now as we're getting ready to move into the second one, which is going to be Erangel, I'm curious to see what kind of consistency we could see coming on through, moving off of the momentum kind of pulled up on Erangel.
Well, I have to say, you know, finishers already starting off strong with the 20 points, tied as well. There are a couple of teams that I feel a little bit surprised about in terms of how they performed so far in this first game. I mean, of course, a couple people in chat are also being like, Hellfire. You know, we were wanting to watch M&A. I feel like Chica iOS, that's a team that was super deadly when we saw them just going for absolutely like so many kills, right? And all of them didn't do too hot in this first match, either getting 5-1-0 points. So coming to Erangel, I'm expecting a lot from them, you know, kind of taking that as their reality check, now realizing, oh, okay, didn't do so well in that one, this time has to be different.
We need some of that BBA. We need some of that BBA to come on through. I think that's going to be important. Bounce back ability. BBA.
Oh, okay. I don't think I ever heard about that before.
Well,
bounce back ability.
I learned a new word today. We won't mention what the word was, and you learned something new today. But there we go. You know, getting ready.
Is that an actual term though?
Yes, it is bounce back ability. Yeah.
Coined by who?
My good friend Google will be able to tell me the answer to that, which I'm not going to ask them. Yeah, I'm not going to ask right now because, you know, we've got a flight path coming in. It's all the way towards the west. You know, it's something that is part of the lingo over here in Africa, the bounce back ability, right? I don't know if it's a thing around the world, but it's definitely a thing here. If you didn't know that, now you do. You're welcome. But speaking about you're welcome, we see, of course, the team's already starting off quite early. We could actually have a little bit of hot drop action coming in towards Stolber and Severny.
Yeah, I just saw that other color about around Stolber as well. You're right. That's so interesting. I mean, we were kind of expecting this, right? So many teams ended up kind of dropping near each other map one because these guys don't really know where each other are going to go. We're seeing that once again. Severny, though, and the compound around Stolber that those other teams are going towards, there isn't a really easy escape like there is in Los Leones, though. It's not a big city. There's not a ton of mountains and stuff to be able to escape around. This is going to be a little bit dangerous for so many of these teams. The zone already popped. It's centering just off of a Tinky. And Severny, look at that. Already people getting knocked.
Well, that's what we want to see. A really bad knock-knock joke coming through, but definitely a good show of aggression. M&A being one of the first teams to lose a player. I mean, was that Alucard getting taken down? That is devastating. But of course, we don't have 5 teams left, I promise. We still have all 16 alive. We can see Zero Remorse now just trying to take a little bit of a controlling position up in towards school. But for the time being, they are going to be completely uncontested here. They've got their pick of the town. They can decide where they want to go, well, in school. And of course, how they want to rotate out of this. But I'm curious to see what's happening in our other positions where we saw quite a few of those teams dropping up close and personal. Already the players here from the Panthers bot starting off with 1 elim, not even 2 minutes into the match.
Yeah, it looks like, taking a look at that mini map, looks like don't know exactly where the other person went on ahead and went to, right? Can't see them at all. Looks like they're still being careful though. You know, why not go ahead and try and cross pretty carefully. seems like that other solo though has gotten away. Now as a solo, hopefully is easy for them to kind of sneakily move around, kind of take the cover side of things, be a little bit quiet, just try and stay alive as long as possible into that late game, get themselves some placement points. Otherwise, just above Stauber, we can see Cookie Crumbs. God, this is one of the teams that kind of ran into another up here, but it looks like neither of them were taken down at all. They're able to kind of separate from each other just enough. Kind of worried though, because Cookie Crumbs doesn't really seem like they have a vehicle, while the other one does. They can go on ahead and get loot and to where they need to go next. Much better than Cookie Crumbs as of right now.
I was quite excited there for a quick moment to see Archer with the crossbow. I mean, that would have been Archer being an Archer. that would have been a highlight of my day. Seeing that it kind of just started. But whichever way, you know, it's early morning. It's good to see some early plays coming through here. And that solid you were referring to was Electra, rotating out of Saverni, being able to just put enough distance in between that position to escape the potential onslaught coming on through at their hand there of you know, those few devastating yes, there we go, that's the correct English coming in, as we did see Alucard having to pack their bags and go back into the lobby. But definitely this time around we do see a lot of those hot drops dissolving. I mean, there's not so much action coming in as we would have anticipated, looking at where the teams were dropping down into. But definitely it's a good call, I think, because the teams now are starting to spread out a little bit more across all the vast options they have available in this coming phase.
Still a lot of people on that Rosshawk school area. A little bit scared about that, honestly. Some people kind of just to the southern side as well, inside of the next compound. Actually, a lot of people starting to make their move on towards this zone. Right now, Pochinki completely open, kind of playing inside the city at this early stage. So it's a little bit scary because it's easy to get in, kind of harder to get out. But basically, there's a lot of room for everybody to kind of squeeze into this first circle. I'm just curious to see where those locations are going to be. As of right now, I kind of like this huge split going on just in the very center of this circle happening between Hypercito and their teammate there, because they have so much power over that area and they have so much knowledge. They can basically see who's around them. Hopefully that'll go on ahead and do them well into this next circle pop. But they got to be careful as they're split. Because if they get caught off split, it could be bad, just like Zero Morse here trying to find somebody below them in Roz.
Well, it's definitely going to take, it's going to come down to timing. I mean, I wouldn't call it luck, because that's not, I don't think that's something that you could really use as an excuse here. But I mean, either way, Bad Boy and Times, they just playing their way so sneakily coming through those compounds. I mean, but Pilot and Pain, also, they're looking to set it up, right? You can see they both now just hunker down. They are pretty aware that there is someone positioned down below. Not 100% sure exactly where they are, but they got a pretty good idea. And I think they're just now sitting around waiting for any of those potential openings to come on through. I'm not, however, convinced that Bad Boy and Times have been made aware of the position of Zero Remorse above them.
Oh, well, now they definitely do. Bad Boy goes down. No, Times. Oh, he just ran in the open. That gave me a little bit of a heart attack. I don't know if they'll be able to get this res in time, though.
Well, yeah, Zero Remorse are going to be showing Zero Remorse. They now come pushing right on in. You can see Pilot leading the push there, cooking up the nade, sends it over. Bad Boy and Times managing to quickly just reposition in the nick of time.
Oh, what the?
But will Pilot now line that up? Oh, some pretty beautiful hits come in, and down goes Times. The final push is about to be upon them. Will we see this final push come in? I mean, Span, this is quite a position to have, but Bad Boy is now slowly running out of time.
Nice.
Ooh, but he picks up Pilot. There we go, now focusing on a little bit of that Bane interaction. Will it come on through?
No.
Oh! What? No, they're still dancing. They're still going.
He has like 1 HP. Yeah, look at him. He has like 1 HP. I can't believe no. I was like, I can't believe he got that knock. That's so close. But no, FSU chosen ones, they go out. Looks like oh. Uh-oh. Well, looks like it doesn't end here actually.
No, not anytime soon. I mean, we've got Man and Clown getting ready to move right up on that third party. Ooh, that could be a beautiful one. Unfortunately, it doesn't reach all the way to Pain. Oh, but second attempt is going to be worth the shot, Clown. Quickly now trying to set up this next potential angle. We do see a little bit of damage coming through, but that was, of course, from man's side, finding those shots. But now Pilot and Pain, they need to play this one super, super carefully.
They're trapped. They're just wholeheartedly trapped. This is a difficult area too, because usually people that go Rozhawk know that they need to kind of leave Rozhawk as soon as possible, especially if there's somebody that lands below them, either in that apartment school area, because a lot of times those people like jumping right up on top of them, on top of this big hill overlooking Rozhawk, and then those guys in Rozhawk, really difficult time leaving. Oh no, wait, they just crashed into the hail bale. Like, this is great for Bullshark trying to get this one kill on the strikers here.
Well, up comes the push. Bullshark trying to move on in. Yaga providing some good off-angle coverage there. The utility is causing a little bit of damage. Nothing too crazy just yet, but I'm liking this positioning coming through there from Yaga. But Bullshark is going to be relentless, closing it out onto strikers. And now it is up to Critch to try and maybe come in with a bit of a saving play. I mean, Bullshark is super low on health, so it'll only take one hit, but maybe we could even see that vehicle now coming into play.
Yeah, well, it looks like he's just driving on out of there, knows he can't go ahead and save his teammate. Unfortunately, he just couldn't look over in time to see if he can do any damage to Baba. So there you go. There goes Striker. That means 100 has one person left, so it seems like they're joining the solos clubs. And Zero Morse actually made it out. Oh no, one goes down. They actually traded on that.
Wow, that is some beautiful trading coming in. But of course, Clown, super low on health. Pain, not out of the jungle just yet, but does close it up. And with that, picks up the confirmation. 4 elims under their belt. Zero Morse off to an absolutely fantastic Erangel so far. And we still have 13 sets of duos left to try to find it out. But we also now see the players here from Masatos positioned over on towards the fields, just on the outskirts there of Pachinki. We don't see anyone really moving in just yet. And of course, here's our MVP player from the first match over on Miramar. Good old Fate, getting ready to potentially roll with even more punches.
Well, they're heading out, you know? They're just waiting, staying on this plateau, seeing if anybody's going to go on ahead, come on near. It's only 10 minutes into this game, and they still have 23 people alive. This next area is going to close. I mean, if they're safe, why go on ahead and really move anywhere else? Especially since they're in a nice little bowl here. They do get a lot of information from up on top of these hills, so they're just going to stay around in this area and see if they can spot anyone. I like their positioning personally, because it's not inside of that Pachinki area. I already said why I like driving into the straight center of Pachinki is kind of a scary idea, but they're just off center. They can gain a lot of information from up there. Curious to see how the rest of these teams up in the northeastern side are going to go, because at this point, I mean, the top of Rozhawk is taken. We can see 2 other teams now making a rotation on in, and kind of curious to see where they're going to end up. Oh, and look at the 2 solos as well around the ruins area.
Well, it's going to be quite a play. I mean, we actually got 3 solos from what we can see on the map currently. We also have Electra positioned all the way up in towards the Georgia Ball crates, and I think for the time being, that is a relatively safe position to be playing, seeing that, you know, we are having some interesting driving skills being showcased here.
Archer, interesting. He almost was taken down. That would have been terrible for Cookie Crumbs if they ended up getting that knock. Oh no, I might have spoken too soon. Oh, no, that nade going a little bit too far away. Archer's going to try one of their own. This is outside zone. This is not a good situation for either of these teams.
Well, fortunately for them, they are right on the edge, but with that, Archer gets put on down. It is now up to Butterfly to fly on through and pull a rabbit out of a hat here. Up we come, the trade-off coming in. Beautiful shooting. As Butterfly holds on, come on.
No way!
2 for 2.
What? Butterfly just 2v1 them, basically. They will clearly have to run because they have, like, no meds and no HP, while the teammate is going to be crawling towards them. That's successful, though. I mean, it was only the second zone that ended up just closing right there, so they should be able to get that res on Archer, and they should be able to continue to have 2 up, and they have 2 more kills. That was kind of an insane crash play there. I don't even know.
Yeah. I mean, that was a cool, calm, and collected show of confidence right there. I mean, absolutely beautiful, beautiful shooting. And now we get to see even more crazy PUBG come on through as we now look on towards Fulabi and Punjabi. They are over a kilometer away from zone. Quite a bit of ground to cover, but no rush because there's still like a minute and 20 seconds odd on the clock. So a very comfortable rotation ahead for them. I'm curious to see though where they're going to be choosing to move up into. So we did see still quite a big spread coming in from a lot of our teams here. No one really starting to cram up into any particular position just yet. But I'm curious to see whether or not anyone's going to be moving a little bit closer towards Pachinki. I mean, I'm not expecting anyone to really move into Pachinki because it's easy to get in, but it's really difficult to get out of that, especially when the other teams start moving closer and closer. So it becomes a little bit of a problem. But I mean, these fields are still pretty much on the table and open for positioning.
Ooh, it looks like they actually have to go on ahead and pull up around that Ruins Gaka area. I'd like to see Baba. They actually still have that compound just to the side of Gaka there. I feel like that's the most centralized compound that they can get, along with, of course, their team in the smack center that are dressed to the southern side of Ruins. Ooh, gotta be careful though, because this zone is so small that anywhere anybody drives, there's probably a team there. Execute almost was taken down there.
Yeah, Execute now just escaping the one, now almost driving right up into another set of duos. But here we go. Execute now in it for the long run, in for the long haul. They want to try and make it all the way through up in it towards those late few phases. And the shots already finding their way on in, as we can see the players there from XP now just positioned. We got a good old Druggy and it's Bug setting up a bit of a gatekeep on the edge of zone. I mean, Gremlin and Fate, they can actually utilize a lot of this rage line to not only rotate up into zone, but actually find a really strong position to move into.
They could, and for a second there I was a little bit worried because Fate ended up getting super separated from Gremlin, but he was able to kind of circle back and get back with his teammate. I like this movement here. They know that they ended up doing a good amount of damage to them on top of this hill, so Fate going down to the southern side, sees if he can get a different angle on this. Can't quite spot out that Druggy is right at that tree though. Taking a look at him, oh, maybe he just spotted him, not quite sure, but they're like, we don't want to bother with it. Let's go on ahead and make a big rotation down to the southern side, see if there's another place for us to go on ahead and make a rotation on into. And I like that Gremlin's kind of waiting for the teammate as well so that he doesn't run into anything alone.
Yeah, definitely doing a little bit of that blue zone surfing, as we can see them now looking to find a good hiding spot moving in from that southern side, but the zone not moving up too aggressively. I mean, it still kind of stays in the vicinity over on towards that southern side. So it's going to be a relatively easy rotation down south. But up north, it's not necessarily the same kind of situation. We do see the players there from Zero Remorse rotating up in the distance. And then, of course, Dream in here from Chica iOS. Still looking to potentially sneak on in. But first, they got to go past Fulabi and Punjabi, who have themselves set up beautifully on the rooftops.
Time to wait to see if they end up spotting out Dreamin' solo here. Kind of difficult if you take a look at the minimap. Once again, kind of a hard move on it. But as a solo, I mean, hopefully he has the advantage of stealth on his side, you know? Maybe he can kind of sneak on up, hide in one of the buildings without anybody from Fulabi and Punjabi noticing. And then if they walk into that building, I mean, Dreamin', that's just a free kill for them. So we'll have to wait and see. Probably that nade for a second there. I was like, oh, are they expecting something? But it doesn't seem like it. It seems like, they're just tempting fate or something by pulling the pin just for a second before they put it back in, just some fun.
Yeah.
Especially since the zone's much smaller. I'd be a little bit concerned about people starting to kind of make crazy moves potentially, but also this late, you don't really see big rotations come through, but definitely around those edges, a little bit worried.
Yeah, let's call it a bit of a rehearsal. That's all it was, just anticipating what is still to come. Some situations that might require a few of those utilities getting put to some good use. But also now we do see the players there from the finisher also just venturing up on towards that western side. Baba also just now resorting to the rooftops. And this is actually quite an interesting vantage point for a lot of these teams to be holding, seeing that you know, it just opens up so many more possibilities for them. But the finishers are looking to finish this one out strong once again. But up comes those rotations, and we can see the players there from Execute off in the distance. Fate now just utilizing those little hay bales, but the buggy might not survive the shots.
Uh-oh. Well, it looks like Cookie Crumbs does end up getting eliminated. Fate still trying to drive somewhere. This next zone is going to be closing very shortly, and at this point, there's a lot of teams around the edge right now that we know that there's going to be big movements coming in from a couple of them, and I'm kind of a little bit worried. Nobody wants it to be them, but obviously they don't get a choice.
Yeah, you don't really get to choose all that much. You know, that RNG just coming on through, and I mean, I'm curious to see also what XP are going to be doing. We did see some interesting plays coming through from them in the qualifiers, and now also up comes Dreamin, still looking to find that position. But look at this also, we do see Electra just up on towards that northwestern position. So, I mean, if Dreamin is not careful, we could actually see those third-party hits coming in off from that northwestern side. But a lot of rotations now heading up into the zone.
A little bit of a scary situation, you're right. So many people starting to make a big move. Ooh, Dreamin' actually. I'm surprised by how aggressive he's being right now. Only has that small little rock in his buggy to provide him cover. You can see that somebody had decided to punish him a tiny bit, and looks like Baba, they got crashed on. I mean, this compound is a really good one inside this zone. Not quite surprised to see that now there's a fight breaking out over it.
Yeah, now comes the cram. Up comes the teams now looking to squeeze on Erangel. As you can see, finding themselves in a bit of a predicament down below. Baba, meanwhile, are going to be looking to defend their honor right here alongside the players from the finisher. What a beautiful split. I mean, this is pretty much as fair as you can get it, having a 1v1 on either side. But Yaga now just trying to send those utilities downstairs, just looking to create a bit of an opening. But they're still kind of respecting the space. I mean, we do see Fate also now just coming into the kill feed. Up comes yet another one, trying relentlessly to lure out the good old Paul there. Up top, but up comes the rush. Beautiful execution play as Paul finds it. Yaga is down for the count and is now down to Bull Shark to try and survive. But up comes Tom. And yeah, Baba getting sent right back into the lobby.
Fortunately, Baba couldn't hold on to their compound. That means this team that was able to take over it has such a strong spot. I mean, look, other people such as Falabi and Punjabi, they're just having to resort to a singular rock to provide them cover in this next zone. Of course, we'll have to see where this next one goes. Actually, hard shifts down to the southern side, and yeah, this looks great, actually, for the team that was able to grab that compound. Meanwhile, Dreamin', the solo, he's keeping it alive, the dream. He got one knocked. There's still another one there, though.
Yeah, almost there. So close. Fulabi and Punjabi position just up ahead. You can see Dreamer now trying to reach across the smoke, trying to send the grenades over. And Zero Remorse gets picked up, but Jalay also gets sent away. And now we are down to only 8 remaining teams. Up comes Chica iOS to close it out. Punjabi, Fulabi and Punjabi getting sent back, and 7 now left to roll on through. We can see the players there from Execute. Just looking to move in from that southern side. Fate trying to tempt Fate, but unfortunately doesn't really work out all too well. The players there from Masatos just making it so difficult to secure any particular position coming in on that southern end.
Here we go, we can see Bug kind of keeping a look on up towards the northern side. They know that there's somebody up there. I like how slow everybody along the edges are taking things. They know that they can't move fast, otherwise bad things will definitely happen. Only really one team just on the inside of the zone, and otherwise everybody else is out. So here you go, Bug. He has something planned. Looks like so does Gremlin at the same time. They're bringing their vehicles. Honestly, that's their moving cover. Right when they get there, they're probably going to jump out of that, and that's going to be the cover that they utilize. Ooh, big fight on the southern side. Gremlin comes out on top.
Ooh, but only for the time being. Masato still utilizing their building, capitalizing on that positioning. We see Dreamin getting devoured by the big bad blue, and now it is our final 3 teams. Got the players there from the finishers moving up. Oh, down goes Electra. Unfortunately, yeah, 3rd place.
They lost somebody first, and they got 3rd. I gotta say, I mean, I think that was pretty successful for Electra there, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, consistency pays off. I mean, perseverance also just being absolutely key, as we can see Electra just managing to survive all the way on through. But now it is down to Masato's and the players there from the finisher. And the finisher actually looking
Wow.
to be in a tricky position, but I'm not 100% convinced that it's going to be that tricky for them.
I mean, they won the first game, right? So looks like they're ready to kind of put the nail in Hypercito and Darkito's coffins here because they want to get another one. No way, though. Tom goes down. This is not looking good for Paul. Oh no. Right when one goes down in a duo tournament, like usually the rush happens, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if we see Masato's Esports just instantly start pushing hardcore towards Paul. We'll have to wait and see. Paul, he could still turn this around if he's able to play this as carefully as possible and picks them off and turns it into 2 1v1s instead of a 2v1.
Well, I gotta commend Paul here. I mean, even though the teammate got taken down, Paul is not deterred, not backing off, still looking to just potentially line up something. Now, of course, looking to get that race back in to stand a fighting chance. And Masato's are trying everything they've got up their sleeves, you know, hopping onto the buggy backseat to see if they can eventually find those angles. But look at that. They do re-knock Tom once again. Up comes the rush, potentially, as we can see Masato's now utilizing the vehicle, but unfortunately you can't shoot and drive at the same time.
Nice. It looks like Paul is looking towards Hypercito as well, but not quite sure. Darkito now in the position to try and give his teammate as much information as possible. Nades after nade just pummeling towards the finishers. That might be enough to hit Tom, not quite sure. No, it's just smokes. I don't even know if they have any nades left. This is completely turned around. Looks like they're trying to get the next res, but honestly, if the finishers, if they move fast enough, they could stop it. But it looks like they don't know just yet. Let's see if Paul sees them on this angle.
Oh, he's got a good idea.
Oh no.
Oh, the knock comes through, but the nade is still there, causes quite a bit of carnage. On towards Hypercito. He is super low. Tom could be the finishing blow. It deals right here. Of course, Hypercito quickly trying to just boost that health bar back up. Up comes
No way!
Wow, you can't write this stuff. Masato's stealing the chicken away from the finishers, and they came so close to making it all the way through. But well done to Masato's, coming in with 4 elims and 896 damage points dealt. That is still some pretty hefty numbers coming in, and I mean, that was such a beautiful dance around we had coming in from both our 2 final teams there.
I have whiplash, honestly. It's all like, oh, Masato's has the advantage. Oh no, the finishers does. No, there goes Masato's again. That was difficult. I didn't even know what was gonna happen. They're playing with my heartstrings there. But Masato's, I mean, right when we saw that push coming, I'm like, Masato's, they're in charge of the peak. They're gonna be able to look around that crate. They're just going to go on ahead and take out the last member of the finishers, and that's what happened. So a little bit of a gamble there. Unfortunately, didn't pay off for the finishers, but Masato's, they're going to be quite happy about that. That's a team that they wanted. They needed to go on ahead and grab some points back to make it up that leaderboard. And the finishers, looks like they're getting a first, a second. Kind of curious to see what they're going to be getting in our last match today.
I mean, you gotta say, it's been a great day so far for the finishers. I mean, coming in with an amazing match 1. Also, a pretty good match 2 coming through, as you pointed out, that second position coming in. But of course, we ultimately have to have a look to see what the leaderboard situation is. I mean, Masato's coming in with a very comfortable 19-pointer there, just ahead of the finisher, who are taking 14 points out of this one. So definitely we'll see, you know, the points starting to add up. But Masato's, what a bounce back this has been. I mean, first match, no points. Second match, they lead. They get right up in front. That is what you call bounce back ability. You see that being implemented by Masato's right there. And that is, for now, the definition of the term.
Okay. And the finishers, I feel like, definitely have secured themselves that top spot. But I have to also commend N and A in that 3rd place spot. They got +10. Of course, that +10 is only from the placements from the third place. But honestly, they had first blood. Like, Electra's teammate Alucard, they died first. So honestly, that's pretty impressive when you think about it. Able to kind of sneak all the way into the late game and not get spotted until they're taken out in 3rd. That's success. Unfortunately, they weren't able to have a full game. Like if they had Alucard there, like maybe they would have been able to use the positioning and the fire, the force fire, like to be able to get themselves even more than 10, but that's still a good amount considering the situation that they were dealt from the very beginning. Not even a minute had gone by.
Yeah, I mean, double digits are double digits. No matter which way you look at it, if it's on the board, it's on the board. So absolutely fantastic stuff. But of course, we need to see how that then impacts our overall standings. The finishers adding their 14 points on, setting them up onto 34. We got the players there from the 100, still retaining that second position. But we now also see Execute trading places and actually hopping one up above the players there from Chicas. We did see both these teams, of course, sitting on 13 points apiece coming into this match. So a good play coming in from both of them. But of course, the big jump coming in there from Masatos, hopping all the way from that 15th place up into 5th. This is the kind of stuff that we want to see. Chile still holding strong. They on their 11 points, and M&A also making nice leaps here, hopping all the way from 10th place up into 7th.
Looks like a couple other people are able to pick up a couple more points here. Still not the best performance. A lot of people with 2 points overall, and we ended up seeing Falabi and Punjabi, Baba, Panther Spot, all of them ended up getting in really early fights or in pretty tough positionings for themselves that I think they just had 2 very tough games. So honestly, if they're hoping to try and get towards the top of this leaderboard by the end of this entire event, this is the last match they have to do so to kind of once again kind of get themselves back in the running. So we'll have to wait and see if they're going to be able to do well this last match, and then of course have to continue to do well coming into the 3 games tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely we'll have to continue on with that consistency. But I mean, definitely match 1 to match 2, some really great improvements coming through from a lot of our duos here. But I mean, it all is going to boil down for today onto our final match to see what is going to be coming through on that. But before we get anywhere near any of that stuff, we also have to take a look to see who our MVP team is going to be for the day. So of course, we've got our MVP team coming in. The finisher taking the show. We saw the players there from the 100 taking the previous MVP team. This time around, it is going to be the players from the finisher with their 7 elims and 1,366 damage dealt and only 2 assists. So some really good consistency, good follow through on those elims coming in. I mean, whoever they've knocked, they've pretty much finished it up as well.
Seems like they also were able to kind of get even more damage to that. They were able to just see everything. That was really well done for them being into the end there. A little bit surprised that they weren't able to kind of finish it off in the end, but also still 1,366 damage, 2 assists, 7 kills. You already said it. Like, definitely well played coming through from them. A lot of damage, and I kind of want to see how many they're going to be able to pick up in this last one too, because clearly they came in here with a purpose, right? First place, second place, MVPs for both these times. So we'll have to wait and see. And I'm kind of curious who's the MVP player. Might be someone from the finisher as well.
Ooh, yeah, that would be quite interesting to see. I mean, we know it was Fate from Execute getting it the previous match round, but let's see who our MVP player is for this particular match. Ooh, it's
okay.
Fate once again. You know, so as Fate has it, it's gonna be Fate coming in with 7 elims, 2 assists, and 980 damage dealt. So that is looking pretty comfortable for the team of Execute.
Yeah. They also are a team, I feel like, that we've seen kind of creep around these maps too and get in a lot of fights and participate in a lot of the action that we've been kind of looking at. So not quite surprised to see that Fate's still kind of holding on to this spot. So we'll have to see if anybody's going to be able to take it from them. But so far, holding on to it pretty strongly.
Yeah, definitely doing some great things. And of course, Execute managing to now, you know, occupy that 3rd place, only 10 points away from the finisher. So who knows? Maybe this last match could be the deciding play where we could see a little bit of a surprise performance come in. But I mean, even just looking at what we had coming in on the leaderboards, the top 5 teams are still pretty close to each other. There's not a lot of points really separating the top 5. Well, even I could go as far as to say the entire left side of that leaderboard. There's not a lot really separating them. So it's still pretty much game on. I mean, yes, the finishers have been taking the MVP slot. We have seen Fate from Execute taking the MVP player. Which way is it going to go in this final match? I mean, Sanhok is where it's at. Sanhok is going to be super, super aggressive. And, you know, the teams, they're starting to dial it in. I mean, I think they've kind of gotten past that point where they want to try and figure out how to best approach it. I think we're going to be in for a very surprising Sanhok game.
I agree, and I cannot wait to see what comes out of it. There's already a ton of aggressive teams, and we'll just have to wait and see. First, though, DK, it looks like we're jumping into a short break before we'll be back with that Sanhok action.
For salvation, can we find our way back? Way back. Caught up in confusion, need a resolution. Can we find our way back? Way back. No more running, no more running, no more chasing. No more running now, I'm running out of patience. Caught up in confusion, need a resolution. Can we find our way back? Way back. Can we find our way back? Way back. Can we find our way back? Way back. Can we find our way back? Way back.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. It's time for us to move into our final match of the day. And I mean, so far, Erangel, Miramar bringing some pretty spicy stuff along with it. But of course, no, we're going to wrap it up for day one to see what the teams are going to bring over onto Sanhok. And I mean, we've seen some pretty consistent plays come through. We've seen some determination and some good survival time coming through there. M&A making it, as you pointed out, from the first blood all the way up into third place finish. You know, that takes something to make it all that way as a lone ranger. But now as we move into the jungle, it's all going to come down to playing on those opportunities.
Yeah, it is all about that. It's difficult to really 100% plan things in Sanhok because I feel like there's a high probability of things changing or going wrong or something happening that you were not expecting whatsoever, even just running up onto another team. So kind of curious to see how this next one's going to go, especially since these last two matches, honestly, DK, clearly they're just like, I don't know where anybody else is dropping, so I'm just going to drop where I like to drop. And then there was a lot of people sharing the same drop. So coming into Sanhok, the map is big enough that all of these teams should be able to find themselves their own location, but I feel like we might still see a couple teams drop near each other. Maybe there'll be some early fighting, maybe they'll be able to separate from each other. We'll just have to wait and see, but definitely this last match I feel like is going to set the tone for tomorrow, right? Like some teams are going to continue to do well. They're going to continue to stay at the top of the leaderboard tomorrow. Hopefully they'll just continue to be confident and keep rolling. And potentially those teams at the bottom, they might feel a little bit defeated. Hopefully, instead of feeling defeated, they feel fire inside of them and they want to really come back tomorrow and absolutely just rip everything up. But we'll just have to wait and see. This does set the tone.
yeah, it definitely does set the tone quite some bit, and you know, it's important to get that foundation kind of set up and get it all rolling. But you know, just to remind everyone of where we've been and where we are heading to, we are going to be having a quick look at our maps of the day just once more before we make our way up into the jungle. Of course, we started over on Erangel, where we had some beautiful players coming in, moved Erangel. Again, I can't read here, Span. We started on Miramar, then went to Erangel, and now we're heading over in towards Sanhok to see what the teams will bring in.
Mm-hmm.
This is gonna be interesting.
I mean, nice playing path. Not that it really matters on Sanhok. People are still able to really get anywhere that they want on Sanhok, no matter what playing path it seems. Does look like, actually, I'm kind of hoping that boot camp, it looks like it's going to be spicy. I think I see 3 different colors there. I'm kind of excited for this one. And everybody else, though, seems to have been able to kind of spread out. Kind of looks like Paradise people as well, but we'll gotta wait and see what happens. Even over here by Zero Remorse, they have some people. Actually, no, they're free. I'm looking over at a different spot on this map here. But here we go. This is what we're waiting for.
Yes, the first blood coming in for the players there of Chica's iOS. Ooh, now the Panthers bots are looking to make a bit of a stand here. We can see Chica now just trying to hold on, get those reses back on through the Panther bots. Meanwhile, also now just looking to play the angles here. Ooh, but like the rush. Ooh, execute
no.
send away. The devastating blows come through, and with that, Masatos deal a deadly blow onto the players from the Panthers bots, but they're not out of it because we see, of course, the players there. We see Times just holding off in the distance, and I mean, this could be quite an interesting play now coming in for the side of Chile.
Let's see, here we go. Darkito kind of just backing on out of there. I don't know if they're going to continue to play this fight, actually. As a solo, I don't know if I would be focusing on that or if I'd be focusing on just trying to get out of here at this point. Maybe resetting, getting away from this fight, and hoping to live for the rest of the game, right? Doesn't look like the Chosen Ones are that interested in chasing. Maybe they don't quite know where he ended up going. So he has to be really careful not to get spotted. And Chosen Ones, wouldn't be surprised if they start trying to sweep boot camp, but we'll have to wait and see.
I just realized I called the Chosen Ones Chile, so apologies there. But of course, yeah, I'm curious to see just whether or not the Chosen Ones are gonna, like you said, now, you know, just try and sweep it on up. There's already been quite a few blows already dealt, so they could move up and pick off a relatively easy head. I mean, Mosato's only on 1, and that is a pretty crucial point to be at, as you know, like that really slows down the pace. It slows down the options as to where they could go and move into, particularly in a drop spot like bootcamp. But now we also see the addition of Baba moving up onto that hilltop, so the pressure is definitely going to be on, particularly up into bootcamp.
Oop, here we go. 100 also getting inside their vehicle. They're trying to make a big move this zone. I'm excited to see it kind of land on the main island of Sanhok this time, if I do say so myself, because there's a lot of interesting places that this could go ahead and end up. And honestly, that Bong Quarry Kampong area, everything on the southern side of this entire island so far is pretty empty. So curious to see how people are going to start filling in on this one. And it looks like we got some more fights happening, some more people going on ahead, getting down. It just doesn't stop here. Hellfire, let's see how they're going to turn this one around.
Yeah, Hellfire finding a little bit of damage up into Bullshock. Yeah. No, just Yaga rather. Just trying to wrap around, maybe come in behind, man. Oh, is this going to be the play? Gets out in the open, narrowly escapes that quick duck rather, back up into safety. Oh, but it doesn't seem like Yaga has spotted out the position there of Man and Clan, providing some good cover fire here, as Yaga's now kind of forced to disengage from that initial push.
Ooh. That looks like it landed pretty close. Oh, not close enough though. Okay, I was just like, did that go over the rock? Not quite. Let's see now. Bull Shark does get spotted out. Oh, I bet that was great communication coming in through Crown and Manny there, pointing out his exact location. That means Hellfire, they're gonna get a kill underneath their belt. Don't quite know where Bull Shark's last teammate is, down to the southern side, but looks like Hellfire kind of wants to seek him out here.
Yeah, they're definitely gonna try and get the closure onto that kind of play, but it does seem like Yaga is now going to be looking to potentially rotate up a little bit further in towards the zone, and still a very spread kind of approach. I mean, even up in towards boot camp, even though we have players there from the chosen ones as well as the players coming in from the side there of Masatos, we're not really seeing that engagement coming to fruition just yet. It's still just kind of hovering in and around, but if we look onto the opposite end over that eastern side, Zero Remorse finding themselves in a beautiful position. They've got the nice little delivery coming in there as the drop makes its way on down, and I'm pretty sure they could be quite satisfied with having some upgrades for this game.
This next zone back closing very shortly. The people around Hot 10 looks like M&A together once again. Kind of, they're pretty split up on this one. The team just below to their southern side, kind of worrying me as well, being 100 there. Looking around, it looks like Striker's even getting up on top of the roof. If they spot out Electra, that's going to be a little bit of a tough situation to explain. But down to the southern side, honestly, there's so many people on the western side of this zone right now that if this goes to the east, like our team over there in Camp Bravo is going to be ecstatic. But honestly, if they can continue to actually just be in charge of this eastern side of the zone, it looks like, with this next one.
Yeah, and of course, up comes Hellfire now, looking to rain down a little bit of fire onto the chosen ones down below. We already see Bad Boy getting knocked at times now, quickly coming in for that res. But we also now still have Masatos holding on. They're not pushing out of this one, and Darkito coming in with yet another re-knock onto Bad Boy.
just res after res after res, it seems. And I mean, at this point, can't really do anything out in the open because that team on the hill just to the southern side could go ahead and do something. No way. No, Bad Boy gets knocked once again. Third Kikto. He's really wanted to stay alive in this one.
Yeah, I mean, this is where we ask, Bad Boy, what you gonna do when Darkito keeps on knocking you?
Oh!
It's a remix. But of course, yeah, speaking about remixes, Dreamin' is going to get knocked right on down as we see Striker come through with those hits. Tian now quickly trying to tend to the knock. Manages to pull it off. Dreamin' now in a good position there, just utilizing that tree, but gets re-knocked once again. Oh, this seems to be kind of a theme going on here today.
Yeah, I mean, especially, it's just hard in this spot specifically as well because all I have is this tiny little tree as cover. There we go. Tian also tossing out that smoke because obviously much easier to just go on ahead and continue to get re-knocks. It's over here in boot camp that I'm really kind of cracking up about it because there's so many buildings to use as the cover, but the Keto kept doing it, and Hellfire. Getting out of boot camp is going to be a feat if Hellfire continues to stay there. I feel like they should. So we'll see if they do. Another team actually seems to be coming up behind them too, so they have to be careful.
Yeah. This is where things are going to get quite interesting. Bad Boy and Times now looking like they've kind of been presented with the opportunity to get a little bit more settled in. None of those re-knocks coming up into their direction. But we also do see Mosatos getting sent away, so that kind of explains why things are looking a little bit more cool, calm, and collected over in towards bootcamp. Meanwhile, we do see Baba also now rotating their way on through, just now coming up right alongside the players here from Fulabi and Punjabi. We see up on the high ground, and I mean, snaking is also kind of the name of the game here, as we do see that slow, steady approach coming in. And I mean, I don't expect much else really to be happening. I mean, this is the finals. So they're playing in the grand finals. They want to try and secure as many of these points as they possibly can. And I mean, Jalay, they're just gonna come lasering down onto FSU.
I mean, we also said that the first day might be a little bit more conservative when it comes to gameplay because this is where they want to be getting the points. But honestly, tomorrow, if they don't have the points, they don't have the luxury of being conservative. That was a disgusting spray on the mic there, though, coming in from Jerry here. So the knock goes down onto FSU. Anna, time to see if she's going to be able to hold down the fort or if Jalea is going to be able to take them out. Oh, running out in the open. Doesn't quite catch her, but does end up getting the flush. That just means it's all down to her. And look at the mini map, DK.
Yeah. Hellfire. Yeah, Hellfire. They're not done. They're not done. I mean, this engagement definitely triggered their intrigue as they now come to inspect the noise coming in from the
Nice.
west. And with that, Sanhok gets picked on up as Anna finds a beautiful angle, and now it's up to Jerry to try and hold on. But Anna now going to be in a spot of bother here as we do see Hellfire looking to descend down upon old Anna.
Almost ended up getting a knock out of Manny there, but doesn't quite happen. FSU officially eliminated. It kind of seems like Jerry is being as quiet as possible up to the northern side, but might have been spotted out. Nope. Not quite. Yeah, he's trying to be as quiet as possible. He does not want to be taken out right now.
Yeah, well, with that, we are down to 12 remaining teams. Clown now trying to take the long way around, trying to utilize that ridge line, that hilltop, looking to position themselves just up above Jerry. But of course, they also need to try and just inch their way a little bit closer. That zone just within reach. But I don't want to be Jerry in this position. I mean, having Hellfire up on the high ground, there's only going to be one way to get back into that zone, and that is going to be through trial of fire to try and get into zone. But of course, the finishers now showing us how to actually get off of a motorbike.
That was so clean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, they didn't even stop their motion, they just jumped on off. They were fine. It does look like they did end up finding Jerry there, so he's now out of the picture here. The zone smaller once again, still have people kind of hanging out in boot camp. Excited to see where Hellfire is going to be moving on next, because honestly, taking a look at this, I don't know if I want to be down towards the southern side. It's kind of... Actually, honestly, if I was taking a look at this and I had to make a decision as an IGL on where we're gonna go, I honestly would be like, I have no clue. This is kind of a confusing zone, I feel like.
I would just say rotate to Erangel. It's straight over to Fujiki.
Effective, I guess. No, just rotate to Miramar. They'll be ready for tomorrow.
Yeah. Yes, 100%. That's what I meant to say. See, that's why I enjoy casting this bad, because you got my back. You know, but of course, if we look onto the zone, it's looking quite challenging for the finisher. I mean, they are smack dab center zone alongside that little pond, but there's so many teams just positioned around them, and I mean, yeah, that's going to be a really tough spot to play from. But I mean, once this next zone shifts, I think that's going to be kind of the deciding factor, right? To tell us, which team will have the best likelihood of succeeding in claiming that chicken.
Definitely. That's why I feel like we're seeing some movements. Like we see Hellfire taking the compound right below boot camp there because they know they need to take something. Looks like they're actually moving up a little bit further to hold out anybody that's potentially in there. But otherwise, we don't really see that much other movement. I don't know if they think it's worth it moving all the way up to where they just went Hellfire. They probably should stay at their previous compound because that hard shift, though. There's so many people on this northeastern side of the zone already that it's going to be, I don't know, this is going to be a nasty fight to get in this one.
Yeah, but I was looking at the position coming in there from the side of XP as well, right? They all the way up in towards that northwestern side on the edge of the current blue, right? Now, that could be a saving grace, or it could be a nightmare, right? Because they obviously will have to make their way towards the zone. They have no other choice. But I think it's gonna be coming down to what the teams ahead of them are gonna be doing. If they are able to move into zone, we could then see the players there from XP just rotating up. But otherwise, they are gonna be running into a wall of players positioned up in front of them.
It already looks like Cookie Crumbs as well, getting a little bit shot out. Gonna be as careful as possible, tossing down some smoke. They're kind of having to back up to get a better spot in this zone. See, they're actually kind of rotating away from this next zone shift right now because there's so many people in front of them. Like, all of them are in a position to hold them out. Looks like they at least have a vehicle so that they can quickly make a rotation run along the outskirts of this next zone. But they really have to figure out a place to play out of. Honestly, if they go completely around the circle, they might be able to get up in the southern side of this next zone and be the first people there. So this big rotation could be good for them, but uh-oh. Looks like finishers are trying to make a move on out, but Zero Remorse isn't going to let that happen.
No. Cookie Crumbs now crumbling down as they get sent back, and up comes the pressure from Payne. Looking to pick up ball in the process. Tom already now just down for the count. Beautiful one coming on in as we do see finishing blows come up, and with that, actually, it is going to be the players from the side there of the chosen ones actually getting the confirmation on towards the players from the finishers. So what a surprise turn of events that is. But now our final 8 teams are now just going to be looking to condense themselves back up into the zone. The blue zone forcing them forward. Oh, look at these angles.
There's just so many people. That was a nice trade, though, I will say, but instantly Pilot is going forward the res. That is the best situation possible. Oh no, but wait. There's so many people right beside them. There's literally people laying in the grass right there. If they spotted out that res, that would have been absolutely insane, but not quite. Now they see them out there, and one of them got knocked, but Pilot looks like he's about to be punished. Can't quite squeeze through that rock. We said that this northeastern side was going to be crazy, and it sure is. Everybody's having a difficult time.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so glad I'm watching this match and not playing in it, because this would be it would be absolutely horrendous to play. But either way, it makes for some very exciting gameplay to watch as we see the players now having to squirm and squeal their way up to get up into the next phase. I mean, Zero Remorse, 200 meters out. It doesn't seem like much, but looking at the amount of challenges and hurdles they need to kind of overcome to make it into that phase, it's going to be absolutely crazy. Tian also now getting picked up. Dreamin still just staying off behind that ridge line, not looking to move in just yet, but it's not going to get any easier from this point forward.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to wait and see. Looks like, actually, boot camp people having a little bit of difficulty getting outside as well. Looks like Hellfire really were able to kind of hold down the fort in that regard. Manny did go down, though, so Clan will have to pick him up. It seems like, I'm surprised that they didn't end up just going right on back to the compound that they were at before, because they knew that it was open right when this popped. They were probably hoping to pick up a ton of kills up here on the northern side, kind of being the gatekeepers, and oh man, they're definitely going to take out... Yeah, they're definitely going to take out the chosen ones, unfortunately for them.
Yeah, I mean, Hellfire, Clown, he's not even joking around. He just stepped up, got knock after knock. That was absolutely beautiful to see. With that, our final 6 teams, 8 players remain. And look at this, Hellfire sitting on 7 elims. An absolutely beautiful position to be in. Of course, the players from Fulabi and Punjabi down to only 1. So we do have quite a few stragglers scattered throughout the map. We also see Baba Yaga positioned off in the distance there, taking position up in towards the zone. But the north, I think, is going to be where it's at. We've got 2 duos up north. We've got 2 stragglers also positioned there, and some really difficult positions to play.
There's just, oh man, there's just so many people. Hellfire somehow ended up leaving the compound. Zero Remorse hasn't quite spotted them out just yet, but I think they're in for a rude surprise. Yeah, Pain. That is definitely a Pain moment, honestly. Pilot's still alive, though. Let's see if you might be able to take them out. Spots out Manny. Oh, nice shots. Back to being even. Chica iOS eliminated. 5 teams are left.
Oh, we can see the comms coming through here, but with that, Pain goes right down. Clown out in the open. Beautiful hit coming in from Pilot, but it's not going to be enough. He hasn't closed it up just yet. Pilot now going to be looking to regain some health, but essentially does go down as the blue zone comes swooping on through. 4 teams now remain. It is going to be 4 solos scattered throughout the entirety of what is left of this map. And of course,
Nice.
we see Zero Remorse moving in. Pilot
Nope.
picking up another one, but goes down. It is now going to come down to Baba, who takes it.
I was about to say, I'm like, wait, I swear everybody's outside of the zone still. I think that, yeah, Baba, 0 kills, 120 damage. That's amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
there's just so many people outside zone up in that northwestern side that it was just horribly difficult to get inside the zone whatsoever. Even when the pause happened, he tried getting that kill, he couldn't heal fast enough. So that was an amazing game for them, honestly. I can't believe that. Grabbing that chicken dinner, I mean, why not? They ended up winning from placement, and that's good.
Yep. I mean, what more could you ask for? Getting a chicken dinner with only dealing 120 damage, not a single elam. I mean, yeah, that is. I think that's actually an achievement in game, right? You have to win a chicken dinner without getting any
no kills.
eliminations. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's just what they did there. So, well, that is the achievement unlocked right there. Well done, absolutely fantastic job. But yeah, that was a quite an interesting Sanhok. I mean, we had some really aggressive plays coming in from some of the teams, but when it got to this last phase, I mean, it just took a kind of turn for something completely different.
I could tell just by like taking a look at it. It's all like, this is gonna be a difficult zone. I don't think anybody's really gonna let each other get through. Everybody's just gonna be fighting it out until the very end. I think even Hellfire that ended up staying up to the northern side inside that compound also just made it so difficult for anybody on the northern side to get inside the zone as well. There's usually nobody to the south. So the one team that was like just on the edge, like by themselves over on the eastern side, they got to go boop inside zone and perfect.
Yep.
They won.
Yeah, and that's sometimes all you need. It's just that little boop, you know, that could be the difference between the chicken and no chicken. But we also saw quite a few knocks and re-knocks coming through, particularly in this match. I mean, we haven't seen a lot of that coming in on Erangel or Miramar, so definitely something interesting coming in on the Miramar front there. Sanhok. Wow, I'm running through all the maps. Sanhok. It was exciting. But of course, let's have a look and see what the overall points look like after this third match and the last one for today.
Yeah, this is officially the halfway point, DK. So if they're not in too good of standings right now, they're gonna really have to make it up tomorrow. But it looks like after that one match, Baba, we already know that they won with 0 kills. So they got that straight 15 effective. I mean, there's no reason to complain about that, right? They got 15 points. And they didn't have to struggle, I guess, to get it. I mean, they had to go ahead and make those big rotations. Definitely a great game coming through from them and their ability to achieve that. EXP right behind them, 14 points, Miramar to 13, Falabi and Punjabi with 10, Hellfire 14, Chica iOS with 10 as well. Looks like those are all the double-digit points coming in through there. So definitely a little bit top-heavy, I guess, because from 7th and down, it goes back to the 1s and the 2s, 3s, and 0s. Definitely, that was a hard Sanhok match.
Yeah, it definitely was. But of course, we do now also, with the results of this match, see quite a few changes coming into the overall leaderboard. So I gotta say, I'm excited to see what the teams are going to be bringing to the table tomorrow. Because I mean, today was just so unpredictable. There's a lot of back and forth movement coming in all across the board. I mean, the finisher managing to hold on to their position, even though just gaining 1 point. I mean, 35 is 35. Top spot is top spot. Chica's iOS, however, moving up all the way from 4th place, now up into 2nd. The 100, of course, getting moved down that 1 position. Execute also then following suit. But then we see another bit of a jump coming in from the players there of Zero Remorse, hopping all the way from 8th place, now up into 5th. But also, we do see the players there from EXP moving from 9th place up into 6th. The movement also now continues all the way down from Masato's from that 5th place down into 7th, and Baba actually taking a jump all the way from 13th place up into 8th.
A bunch of movement in that very last match, but I will also have to point out that there is still, I feel like all of these points are still really close up to each other. I mean, 35 to 32 to 26, 24 to 23 to 21. That's still like one game worth of points to be able to jump the person in front of them, right? So coming into tomorrow, I still feel like even more so every single game matters. The big jump off, I feel, is that 12th place position there where Falabi and Punjabi 12, they could honestly just in one game get 20, maybe even 30 points maximum, and that would just absolutely just launch them up the leaderboard. It's people below them I'm a little bit concerned about, but I still feel like, honestly, a lot of these guys have a good chance for 3 more like amazingly good matches to do themselves a favor, do really well, basically. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, like even looking at the points difference between 1st and 8th place, that is only 18 points difference, so that can change in a single match. We can see quite a big leap coming on through. So yeah, I mean, tomorrow will be the day to see what our duos are going to be bringing to the battlefield and who's going to be the ones to step up, taking away that pole position, because I mean, it's been pretty crazy today. We had some really interesting initiatives coming through from a lot of these players. We had some interesting chickens being dealt as well. So who knows what the second day will hold for us.
Who knows indeed. All I know is that after today, after these 3 matches where they played against each other, I'm expecting tomorrow to be absolutely more insane. Or I don't know. All these guys still have to go ahead and win this and kill each other in the name of love, ? So we'll end up seeing how it goes, but I sure am excited to see who's going to take the win of the entire Valentine Royale in the end.
Yeah, to see who's going to get shot by Cupid, right? that's what essentially what we're waiting for. But of course, speaking of which, we have to have a look and see who our MVP team for the day is. We did see the finishes coming up last, and this time around it is going to be the players from Chica iOS coming in with 12 elims, 7 assists, 1 grenade finish, and of course 1687 being brought in. So I mean, the numbers are there, they're being put in, the work is being done.
Gotta go on ahead and get those placement points, though. I think that's what we kind of identified from Chica iOS when they ended up going through the qualifying rounds, the weekly final as well, is that they're absolutely insane when it comes to fighting. They ended up fixing, from the first time that they qualified into the weekly final, qualifying into the grand final, they did fix the placement point situation a good bit. So now coming into the grand finals, I kind of want to see them be able to continue that, so they can definitely go on ahead and get those kills. You can see it right there on the screen, but gotta go on ahead and get those placements as well. So kind of curious to see if they'll be able to turn that around tomorrow too.
Yeah. Well, only time will tell whether or not they'll be able to improve even more on the performance we've seen come from them today. But of course, now, next up, we need to take a look and see who our MVP player is. I mean, we did see it really changing a little bit back and forth. Fate locking it in mostly, but this time, it is going to be Dreamin'.
Yeah, it looks like he's gonna dethrone Fate. Dreamin' taking this one. I mean, he was able to survive as like a solo, like at least one time, a good amount of time. So that he went away with those 9 kills, 4 assists. He got the grenade kill, and 13-15 total damage. So the MVP of this, Dreamin', not surprised. He's been popping up a lot.
Yeah, Dreamin', living the dream, picking up the MVP slot at the end of our first day for the grand finals of the Valentine Royale. Absolutely fantastic PUBG plays coming through here. And I mean, a duo tournament is quite challenging, right? I mean, we've seen a lot of the squad plays come through, but I mean, I think duo is kind of in a realm of itself, because it kind of plays like a squad, but it kind of doesn't. It kind of plays like a solo, but it then also kind of doesn't, you know? I mean, it's some really interesting strategies making its way on through, and I mean, I'm excited to see what the second day is going to bring. I mean, so far over the qualifying weeks, the teams have also been, you know, quite useful with those interesting plays making its way onto the battlefield. Definitely some some strategies that I would not have thought of being utilized here. So, you know, it makes for some entertaining gameplay to watch either way.
Definitely have to get that blend between super aggressive and but also careful at the same time to be successful in these, especially because one mess up, it's not like squads where if you peek a little bit too much and you get knocked, it's okay, 2 people can cover a while the third one reses you, right? No, in this, if you get knocked, then it's just one person that has to hold down the fort, and that usually doesn't go ahead and end well. Usually the push happens immediately. So I feel like, in my opinion, duos, they're even more challenging when it comes to just playing the game in general. So I'm excited for tomorrow too.
Well, there we go. There we have it. Absolutely crazy start to our first day, and the first half of the grand finales have been locked in. And of course, finishers finishing at the top, really fitting name coming in there, taking that position. And we have to wait and see now what our second day is going to be bringing on through. So be sure to join us for our final day of the grand finale to see who our victors will be at the end of this Valentine Royale. The duos are going to be stepping onto the battlefield once again tomorrow. So be sure to join us, same time, same place, and even more PUBG Mobile action on that. Of course, be sure to keep it safe. We'll see you guys back again later. Bye for now.
I'm running in circles to get away. I'm in the same place at the end of the day. Another stiff drink in a dark room. I don't wanna think, can I be numb to you? You set me free when you try to get rid of me. One day you'll see when you're left with a memory. It's days like these that I'm glad that you left. I can't dwell on the things that you said. You do you, keep on placing those bets, but don't blame me when your heart isn't dead. Heart isn't dead. Heart isn't dead. But don't blame me when your heart isn't dead. Heart isn't dead. One look, the heat is rising, and I've been cold for so